Welcome to Therapy by Choice podcast. My name is Robyne Vance. Today, we're diving into a topic that many people experience, but might not always recognize or understand: grieving the loss of a public figure or celebrity. Whether it's the passing of an iconic leader, a beloved actor, or a spiritual figure like the Pope, many of us feel a genuine sense of sadness even if we never knew them personally. And sometimes that sadness is shared on a massive scale through candlelight vigils, online tributes, and public memorials. This is what's known as public grief, or more specifically, collective grief. So, what exactly is collective grief? Collective grief is a form of mourning that occurs when a large group of people simultaneously experience a shared loss, typically the death of someone who had broad social, cultural, or emotional impact. It reflects not only individual sadness, but also a sense of community and cultural identity. And besides the passing of public figures, collective grief can also be something that's shared after a natural disaster or something like the COVID-19 pandemic or 9/11. Today, we're going to explore why we feel this kind of grief, the psychological reasons behind it, and how you can support yourself emotionally through it. And as you know, here on Therapy by Choice podcast, I'm going to present this information to you in an easy to understand, follow, and apply format. So, why do we mourn people we've never met? Well, we got to start with the basics. Grief is a natural emotional response to loss. We often associate grief with the death of a loved one, a family member, a friend, or a partner. But grief can also occur when we lose someone we've never met, but who played an important role in our emotional lives. This happens often through something called a parasocial relationship. Parasocial relationships are one-sided emotional bonds we form with people we frequently see in media. People like actors, athletes, musicians, or public figures. They don't know us, but through repeated exposure and emotional investment, we feel like we know them. Now, I want you to think of someone like Princess Diana. Her death in 1997 triggered a wave of global mourning. Why? Because she symbolized compassion, elegance, and humanitarianism. And for millions, it felt like losing a role model, a comfort, or even a friend. Let's take a moment to consider a few more real life examples. Think about the passing of someone like Kobe Bryant, or more recently, someone like Matthew Perry. For many people, these were celebrities they'd have followed for years. Whether it was Bryant's incredible basketball career or Matthew Perry's role on the iconic show Friends, their work had a personal impact on people's lives. For someone who grew up watching Kobe Bryant, his death may have felt like losing a role model. You might have followed his career for years, admired his tenacity, or even modeled your own work ethic after him. His sudden passing might have made you feel like you lost a mentor, a figure that provided motivation or inspiration in your life. Similarly, for friends of friends, losing Matthew Perry might have felt like the loss of a friend you'd spent hours with through the TV screen, laughing at jokes and watching his character evolve. These kinds of emotional connections are powerful, and they are the perfect example of why grief can occur with the loss of a public figure. It's the emotional bond that's formed, even from afar, that makes the loss feel significant. In these cases, grief isn't just about the individual that died, it's also about what they represented to us personally and culturally. So now let's take a deeper dive into the psychology behind public and collective grief. First up, let's consider emotional attachment. Over time, we build emotional ties to public figures, especially if they've been a constant in our lives. Whether it's following their career or hearing about their personal struggles, we invest emotionally in their journey. We may admire their values, feel inspired by their art, or relate to their personal struggles. And when they pass, it can feel like we've lost a part of ourselves. Next up is collective identity. Sometimes a public figure embodies a larger movement, belief system, or identity. Think of someone like Nelson Mandela. His death represented more than just the end of a life. It symbolized the closing of a chapter in the struggle for justice and equality. Or think about the death of Pope John Paul II in 2005. For millions of Catholics around the world, Pope John Paul was more than just a religious leader. He was a symbol of faith, hope, and resilience. When he passed away, people didn't just grieve for him as an individual, they grieved for the loss of someone who had been a constant presence in their spiritual lives. When we grieve figures like this, we are often grieving what they meant to the collective. Next up, shared mourning. In moments of public grief, we often come together as a society through memorials, hashtags, vigils, or even tribute specials. Now, this shared mourning is powerful. It reinforces community, solidarity, and even healing. It's one of the reasons why people left flowers at David Bowie's memorial, or why people wore Black Panther shirts after Chadwick Boseman's passing. This is the heart of collective grief, a communal experience of loss that reflects shared values, histories, and emotions. Now, next up, I want to talk about the stages of grief and how they apply to public figures. Now, you might have heard about the 5 stages of grief, and that grief often unfolds in stages, and this also includes grief for public figures. Psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross outlined 5 commonly recognized stages of grief, and they are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. I'm going to give you a brief overview of each of these 5 stages. Denial. While often a temporary coping mechanism, denial can be a challenging stage as it involves refusing to accept the reality of the loss. Anger. This stage can involve intense feelings of frustration, helplessness, or even anger directed towards loved ones or the deceased. Now, anger can strain relationships and make it difficult to find support. Bargaining. In this stage, individuals may try to negotiate with a higher power or make deals with themselves to undo the loss. The realization that no bargain will change the situation can be very painful. Depression. This stage is characterized by intense sadness, withdrawal, and feelings of hopelessness. And depression can significantly impact daily life and make even simple tasks feel impossible. Acceptance. While this is often seen as the final stage, acceptance doesn't necessarily mean happiness or the complete absence of grief. It's about coming to terms with the loss and finding a meaningful way to move forward. I'm going to go ahead and illustrate an example of the 5 stages of grief by using the example of Muhammad Ali. Now, many fans of this boxer responded with denial. He's been through so much, this can't be true. Then came anger. It's not fair, he still had so much to offer. Bargaining followed as people wondered what might have been done differently. Depression set in as the reality of his absence sank in. And finally, acceptance. Fans and admirers honoring his legacy and recognizing how deeply he changed the world. Now, an important thing to remember, and what I tell my clients, is that grief is not linear. And this means it doesn't go on a straight line. These stages of grief may overlap or repeat, and that's completely normal. We may be depressed one day and angry the next, and not one stage is harder than the other. And it's important to allow yourself to feel and process each stage in your own time. So, how do we cope and how do we care for ourselves when we're faced with collective grief? I'm going to give you a few strategies and tips. Number one, you have to acknowledge your emotions. Give yourself permission to feel sad, angry, or even numb. Remember, grief is valid, even if the person you're mourning was someone you've never met. You might say to yourself, this person was a part of my world, and it's okay to miss them. Number two, you can participate in rituals. You can join in on a memorial event, light a candle, rewatch your favorite movie, or listen to your favorite song, or donate to a cause that they supported. And these rituals can give you a sense of closure and connection. Number three, you can journal or reflect. Write about what the figure meant to you. How did they influence your life? What values or ideas did they represent? This can help you externalize and organize your thoughts. Number four, manage exposure to media. It's so easy to get overwhelmed by nonstop coverage and social media reactions. It's important to take breaks if needed, and you're not obligated to engage with every tribute or headline. And lastly, seek support. Talk to someone about your feelings, whether it's a friend or a support group or even a therapist. Expressing grief out loud can be healing. And remember, collective grief can bring people together, so let it be a source of comfort and not isolation. To close, to grieve the death of a public figure is to honor the role they played in your life, your culture, and sometimes your identity. Whether it's a spiritual leader, an artist, or an activist, the emotional impact of their work lives on through the way we remember them. And when that grief is shared, when we mourn together, it becomes something bigger, a moment of collective connection, a testament to the power of human empathy. Now, I want you to always remember that grief is a personal journey, and there is no one right way to navigate it. Whether you are grieving the loss of a celebrity or someone closer to you, it's so important to be patient and compassionate with yourself. Remember that it's okay to feel sad and it's okay to mourn, even if that person wasn't a direct part of your life. I want to thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Therapy by Choice podcast. Remember to like and share this podcast, and don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions or if there's a specific topic you'd like for me to cover. You can text me at 408-786-9651 or send me an email at robyn@therapybychoice.com. That's Robyn, ROBYNE, at therapybychoice.com. Also, check out our website at www.therapybychoice.com and follow us on social media. I'm Robyne Vance. Take good care.